I see it somehow? Okay.
Yeah, if you go into the awkward Enchanted coven.
Okay.
Meeting is now streaming. All right. I'm not sure. Let's see.
Here we are.
I'm not 100% sure. So behind the scenes, let's it didn't pop up yet. If anybody is seeing us, can you type in the comments? I always think I know how to do this, and then oh wait, I can look this way. Oh, I think we're here.
Yeah.
All right, we are live. Welcome. We are here for the Hot Pink Torah and Rabbi Cherina. We are all very excited to have you, and I'm especially excited to have you. Yes, and let's make sure, loud and clear. All right, we have lots of amazing goddesses in this group, and we had a really powerful afternoon session today of the course we're doing, the mini challenge from victim to victorious. And it's coming from a lot of Jewish pussy, which is, I shared my story, my family story of, there's a lot of victimization in my family and it's fucking real. So, but with me, it stops. So you are here. We had 2 amazing conversations and you are as badass as you need to be part of this particular challenge and this coven. So I welcome you. You are a for real rabbi and a Jewish pussy sister goddess, but also a sister goddess. So this is not, we're kind of fascinated about the Jewish thing, but this is for every woman.
Yes, absolutely.
So everybody's saying hello. It's a big warm welcome for you here. And
thank you. I think if I put up a screen that also has the Facebook comments, I think everything will crash. So I'm going to actually ask if you can just be a little up on that because I don't want to miss what anyone's saying.
Yeah, I can see both.
Okay.
So I would love for you to introduce yourself. I mean, I put up your bio, but like, let's hear, like, who are you? How did you become a rabbi? Why did you become a rabbi? And like, what is the Hot Pink Torah?
Oh, well, I'm happy to share. So actually at my bat mitzvah, people would come up to me and they said, so are you going to be a rabbi or a cantor? Like I basically had those 2 options available to me. And there was just this sense that people had that I would go down a Jewish path of leadership. And I kind of thought everyone was crazy because I had no aspirations to do this. I wanted to be a ballet dancer. You know, I wanted to do theater. I wanted other things in my life. But I kept gravitating towards Judaism. And I kept having these questions about how could Judaism be a positive influence for good in my life? And I knew that there was some reason that it had existed for this long. I knew there was something powerful in it, but I kept getting lost and feeling like it wasn't quite speaking to me. And so I basically went on this journey to try to figure out what Judaism had to say for me. And I decided to go to rabbinical school because that's how you learn, right? Like you go to this school, it takes 5 or 6 years and you really study and you really get into the juiciness. And I figured maybe that's what was missing for me. And so I went and I got accepted and I was so proud of myself. And I walk in and I do the first semester and my mother actually, she comes up to me at the end of that first semester and says, I don't know how to break this to you, but you haven't smiled for the last 3 months. And even if you don't know me well, like I smile a lot. I'm a really enthusiastic, bubbly person. And apparently I had stopped smiling. And I thought, well, wait, is Judaism doing that to me? Is there just a disconnect? Or is it actually that I'm just studying a Judaism that doesn't work for me? And I need to find the Judaism that does. So I had to go on my own path. I found another rabbinical school that focuses on heart-opening Judaism. how we really connect to our hearts, our bodies, our minds, our spirit, and we let ourselves be Jewish in this like full-on way where we can celebrate the divine in our lives. And I also realized I got a lot into women's empowerment, femininity, what it meant to love this body and this female form that I was born into. And that's how Hot Pink Torah came to be. It's all about the revelation of you, like of each and every woman has this connection to the divine. And that is the Torah, or the kind of biblical answer guide to your life, is in here. It's in our bodies. And so in contrast to Judaism that is often book-based and about out there, what someone else tells you to do, I throw it on its head, and Hot Pink Torah is about how we can open up to the truth of who we are and reveal that to the world. So that's a little bit of my story.
I love it. I love it. When we first spoke, I shared like Jewish pussy, and we both like got high on the like paradox of that and the polarity of like those two things do not go together.
Oh, but they do. Oh, but they do.
And then you liked it, and I was like, wait, you're a real rabbi? And so, you know, when I say real rabbi, to me, I went to an event a couple of maybe when we first spoke, and it was in a rabbinical school, and I was like, oh, cool. And I got there, and every woman who was wearing a yarmulke was like so sad. They looked so sad. And I was like, oh, where's the pink lipstick? Like, it was just like a very, and it doesn't need to be lipstick, but where's the light behind everyone's eyes? Like, and then you popped up, and I'm like, oh, here it is. So it's really beautiful. I feel really excited to know you, and we've been talking plans. And so what is this time of year? Like, let's dive right into like why it's special that you're here today.
It's a great question. So we are actually just a few days away from the new Hebrew month called Elul. And Judaism goes on a lunar calendar as opposed to the year that we're used to, the Gregorian calendar, which follows the sun and has, you know, January, February, March, April, and all those months. And amazingly, they're actually going to line up really, really well this year. And so Elul starts on August 31st and goes into September, and we have these months together. And Elul is the month before Rosh Hashanah. So Rosh Hashanah being the new year, the time when everything starts afresh, this is our month before, and it's considered a very sacred time. And, you know, a lot of people think about New Year's and they think about December 31st. And that's, of course, this time of partying and celebration and New Year's resolutions. And we all know how well New Year's resolutions work. They really don't. There's something really fun about partying, but what happens after? And that's something that in the Jewish New Year is very different. We have an entire month devoted to preparing ourselves for the new year. And that's the month we're entering in, this month of Elul. And it's this extraordinary time, seasonally also. If you think it's starting to become almost a little bit of fall weather, kids are going back to school, there's a transition that is happening right now. And it's really a time to take stock and to look inward and decide who we want to show up as in the new year.
Yeah. And so it's really interesting. So this victim victorious thing, the other night I got home and I couldn't sleep. I was up late. And I don't usually type a lot. But I typed this huge post on victim, victorious, and people pleasing. And I love the idea that there's no pressure. I love that we have all this luxurious feminine amount of time to make this decision. And I'm starting a new, I have hired a new team, and it starts in September. And I decided in September, because my body is trained like, oh, September school starts. So this feels really aligned, like beyond, like along with Judaism, which I'm super fascinated with. It's like everyone's system, if they've been to public school, is trained to like start anew. And then you hope it lasts. And then October is like, did I do well? Like, did I put it in enough practice?
So here's the thing though,
Yeah.
because that's the thing with like, December 31st, we make our New Year's resolutions and we're lucky if we keep them for a week or two.
Yep.
That's really, we're lucky if we even go to that gym and actually, make the food ahead of time that we said we were going to eat at home and not go out to eat to be healthier. Like we usually fail at these. And there's actually a reason why.
Yeah. Why?
Yes. So it actually goes back to Elul and sort of what it represents and what the story is behind Rosh Hashanah. So I'd love to get into that, but if there's something before, I'm happy to.
Let's see. I'm going to open my comments here because I have to keep switching back and forth and it's super distracting and it takes me away from the present. Okay, cool. So does anybody have any questions first? And then we will continue. Any questions? Yes. Yes. Okay. Just a lot of like, wow, interesting. Hello.
We're lucky if we even go to that gym.
Okay, awesome. Nope, I think we can go right ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to actually just tell you a little bit of the essence of the myth that is in one of the major prayers on Rosh Hashanah, which will give us a little idea of why New Year's resolutions really don't work and how we can shift to a new perspective so we can actually make transformation happen in the new year, which is definitely, I think, what I want, I think you want, I think we all want to keep growing and transforming in really positive ways. So there's this prayer called Unatana Tokef, which is the quintessential prayer on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. And it has this myth in it. And we just sort of imagine for a moment that there is this book in the heavens. It's this big, big book. And if you open it to our page, yes, each of us has a page on it. You open it and it shows all our good deeds and all the ways we sinned. All the things we really didn't do right. And the book is open and we are judged. We are judged by God. Okay, let's see here. You did this many good things. You did this many bad things. Oh, okay, which way are you leaning? And depending on how you're leaning is whether or not you get a good life for the next year or suffering, maybe even death. This is a myth to instill a fear to change, a fear to be accountable for how you behave in the world. Now, there are 3 ways that the rabbis give us in this prayer to change it up. So if we have less good things and more bad things, there are 3 ways to mitigate that. And they are asking for forgiveness for the things we've done wrong, praying, and doing good deeds, charity. Tefillah, teshuvah, tzedakah. These are the 3 ways, that's the Hebrew of them, to make the judgment in our favor. Now, all these things are great ideas. It's wonderful to make amends. It's actually really important to make amends with yourself, with others, before you can move on to something new. And that's, just essential. Prayer is a wonderful vehicle to get in touch with what we truly desire and our gratitudes. These are wonderful ideas. Giving to the poor is it's a good idea, right? These are all things that work, all things that are great. However, it's presented in the scenario of fear, where we should feel guilty, we should feel shamed. we've done so many bad things. Oh no, was that one time that I didn't answer that email on time, has that shifted the balance? And now it's hopeless.
Mm.
And it's a really hard way to enter into the new year, to be focusing on the shadows of our lives.
Wow. Yeah.
And so this maybe rings a bell almost for a new year, a kind of secular new year, where we go and we're making these New Year's resolutions and we're going, okay, I totally messed it up last year. Okay, I totally didn't go to the gym at all. I gained 50 pounds. I've been eating junk food. I've been doing these. I'm going to change it. Okay. Starting January 1st, it's all changing. December 31st is my last cheat day. And then I'm starting in earnest, and then I'm doing this. And it comes from this place of lack, of desperation. There's guilt, there's anxiety, depression, there's just a gamut of feelings that are rooted in the shadow of ourselves, the way we don't approve of ourselves, the way we don't love ourselves and make ourselves wrong. And that is not a sustainable way to go into something new, because what we focus on expands. And if we're focusing on the negative and trying to just pull a switcheroo and go, okay, no, I'm all ready. I'm all prepared. Okay, let's go. It just doesn't work. It's not sustainable at all. So we really have a scenario, kind of, no matter if you are Jewish and are celebrating Rosh Hashanah or not, these are things that are just ways that we often just show up and expect that we'll be able to do something new without having done preparation that truly gets us into the positive vibe that we want for our life continuing. So that fear, that shame, that guilt, that torturing yourself, like, oh my gosh, what are all the things I've done wrong? What are all the ways that I didn't go to synagogue? I didn't call my mother back. I said I was going to be here at X time and I was 25 minutes late, and then I got in a fight because, well, how dare you? My time's important too. And if we really start looking back at our lives that way, we can really spiral down. So there's goodness, right, to asking for forgiveness, to trying to do better, to wanting to have goals of how we can shift and change. But if we're motivated by fear and guilt and shame and victimhood, we're actually setting ourselves up for more of that in the coming year.
It's amazing. It's like if you think about, I always think about in the body of like having a civil war, because everyone knows like, these are the right things. I'm going to do these memes. I'm going to and then the war of that voice that's like, you're going to do nothing, like, and that fight back and forth. And yeah, a lot of people. So we have a couple of comments that are like, that's similar to Catholicism. It's just too laden with fear. Christianity is based on fear too. Yeah, a lot of like, yes, this is true. Thank goodness for redemption. I am trying to understand about Rosh Hashanah. Oh, she's talking about the apple dipped in honey and to savor the slower sweetness of life.
Oh.
Great. Welcome everybody who's joining, by the way. It's like, I'm like, okay, cool. So what is the difference between that way of being and like what you're reinterpreting? I'll say it like that. How do you like that? Like reinterpreting.
I love it.
Yeah.
And it's actually, what's amazing, it's not a reinterpretation.
That's
the funny thing. Like, it's right there. It's not what is emphasized, but it's
So that's why I feel this is so theater, right? And I think that's what's great about religion. The way it's supposed to be is it's up for discussion. There's nobody, human form person that sat down with God or Jesus Christ or Buddha or Allah and said like, hey, what am I supposed to do? It's all up as subjective, right? So you reading it through the filter of pussy and femininity and embodiment feels really crucial. Like that's the part that I'm most attracted to and excited about because, yeah. So
Absolutely. So here's the thing. And actually, who was it who said about the apples dipped in honey?
Oh, so Teresa said that. And then we have Dina Lefkowitz. She said, Elul is coming. The king is in the field. I don't know what that means, but that's some secret language that you'll explain to us. Yeah, chime in anything you have, anything you want. But yeah, Teresa said that about the apple dipped in honey.
Wonderful. So really, the secret of what this month is right in the name of the month.
Excuse me. Ooh, say more.
So the name of the month is Elul, and it's not random. It wasn't just made up in the sense of, oh, what shall I call it? I'll call it Shane month or something,
Yeah.
Very, very deliberate. And the rabbis figured this out in the Talmud, and then, generations and generations have been talking about this, that Elul stands for Ani lidodi vidodi li. It's a phrase from the 6th chapter of the Song of Songs. And it is this erotic prose that was written in the Bible, right? In the Bible. And it's nothing like any other book that you will find in it. It's kind of amazing that it was put into the canon, this erotic prose about this love and desire and all these images of nature and lust and beauty. And this is in the Bible, the Jewish Bible, and also other Bibles, right, of different religions. And this phrase, Ani lidodi vidodi li, means I am my beloved and my beloved is mine. And I want to let that sink in for just a second, because this month, if you think of what I just told you, that myth is, and what's happening with the judgment and all the fears and all of that, the month itself, in contrast, is I am my beloved and my beloved is mine. Are you seeing that contrast? That fear, guilt, shame, judgment, and this talk of beloveds, right? There's such a different quality to that. And this is really, actually, it's used in Jewish weddings. This is quoted very often, because it's just, what a sweet thing to say. You're getting married to someone and like, I am my beloved is mine. And often it is thought of allegorically of God and humanity. So like the divine is my beloved and my beloved is the divine. Oh. So there's this connection of, it's not about being afraid. It's not about being judged. It's about being loved.
Wow, I feel so tender. It almost feels like emotional. Like that is so beautiful. Yeah. Let's throw up some hearts. Angelina says it's beautiful. And I want to say, like, the women that are showing up, like, I've been giving some fucking challenges here. They have been showing up for them. And so what you're giving right now is you're like refueling the heart. Like, I've been diving a little bit into the shadow, right? And I wouldn't say a little, into the darkness of, of victim and fear and friends. And so I felt like you just replenished this whole coven. Like that is so much light. So
thank you. I'm so glad. And I just want to say that it's so important to go into the shadow and dig up what's there. Like it's not to say, oh, no, let's just ignore that. Let's push it away. Yes. We have to go through it. We have to look at what is, what has been. But we also need to choose anew, not from that space, but from the space of love.
Totally. You're getting
and should I go on, or are there some more comments?
I just want to share. People are just quoting what you said. And then Valerie says, I am my beloved and my beloved is mine. Love is the ultimate religion, Marissa says. And Valerie said, this is beautiful, Valerie, beautifully nurturing. And Teresa came back and said, the planetary bodies are going through the divine love. Like, really good stuff.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, good. I feel the energy of it all.
Okay, cool. Yes, continue on, please.
So what I love about where this quote comes from is that it's the Song of Songs, right? It's erotic prose, and I encourage anyone who has not read it to read it. It's actually written in the original is written in a Hebrew that is very hard actually to translate, kind of like poetry, but it's beautiful, and there are lovely translations that you can find. I can try to find a few references if people want. But what surprises me about it and what encourages me about it is that the Song of Songs really is about engaging our senses, being aware and in awe of the beauty surrounding us, being in this space of yearning and love and you know, it's like when you're first dating someone and you just you know what I mean, you just want them, and you're just like, everything they do, they're just brushing their hair, and you kind of you just sort of swoon, and they'll say something even like your name, and the way they say it, you just that's the type of feeling that is expressed, although it's expressed biblically in much more eloquent ways than I just said it. But it's talking about, you know, your eyes are luminous like this creature, and like a rose or a lily, your perfume and the way that you come across. And it talks about your breasts that are so juicy and luscious, and comparing animals and plants and the human body, and this love and desire. And it's profound, and it is such a great guide to what this month can be. Because yes, it's important to go to shadow, and it's important to make amends. It's important to come to terms with who you are. But equally, if not more so important, is to actually embrace who you want to be, and to begin doing something around that every single day. And we're getting the message through Elul, through this quote of Beloved, that pleasure, that being aware of our bodies, being aware of our senses, having this awe and wonder and lust about, in gratitude about what is available to us, isn't that the way we want our new year to be? Right? We want that sweetness. We want that lusciousness, that expansiveness. And so we have this month to cultivate that. The rabbis say that, and actually modern science too, that it takes about 30 days to start a new habit. So if you want to start your new year with this sense of, yeah, oh yeah, I'm present, I'm here, I am available for pleasure, I am available for the goodness and the blessings of this world, we got to start now. And we can build that muscle, a muscle of pleasure. Can you imagine? Like, how freeing is that? It's not like, let's beat ourselves up. It's, let's explore pleasure. Let's create a new year that we want to be in.
Amen.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Okay, so we have a couple things going on. One is in Hebrew, which I cannot read.
Oh my
Dina
goodness.
in. Thank you. And Dina invited a lot of her sisters here. Thank you for that. Valerie says, Rabbi, you are a sparkling ray of golden light shining over us. Ah, so feminine. And then we have a what? I need to read that Bible. And then someone else said, yes, love Psalm. Indeed, we do. And it says, Shane Cuminal Cherina. May I ask you if you'd be able to share a post or a link to the book of books with the beloved quotes, please? Yes.
Yes, we will get that.
And Dina, who wrote in Hebrew, now wrote, it's an auspicious time to ask for and to be forgiven. Angelina says she's available. Amen. Amen. Wishing you all a sweet new year. Beautiful. Beautiful.
So wonderful. And yeah, the other thing about pleasure that I wanted to emphasize, and I'm actually doing a month-long, what I call an Elul Pleasure Palace.
Oh, yes.
So Rosh Hashanah preparation. And it's actually a Facebook group, so we can put the link up. I don't know if you can put that. If anyone wants to sign up, because we're going to actually go through pleasure practices and learn more of the deep Torah that is underneath all of this. And whether you're Jewish or not, you can still get something out of this, because this is all applicable to a secular New Year as much as it is a Jewish New Year. So it's really wonderful. There's so much more to this. This is just like the very, very tip. But I just wanted, I think Teresa had mentioned about knowing Rosh Hashanah as a time of apples and honey.
Yes.
And that's very symbolic. And I invite you to take a moment to actually think of what that represents. What are we wishing each other when we are having apples and honey? We want a sweet new year, right? One that is as sweet as honey that is drizzled over a sweet, crisp apple. And so pleasure, right? Imagine eating that apples and honey with that consciousness of infusing your body with pleasure and sweetness and joy. We have so many symbols in Rosh Hashanah that actually are giving us those clues around pleasure. It's just they're eclipsed typically with so much around, guilt, shame, and regret and penance. And so I just want to make sure that everyone can see that this isn't really new. This isn't something that I'm making up that's out of the blue, that, I fell asleep and I woke up one day and I was like, oh, this is what's been missing in Judaism all these years. It's right there, but it just has to be plucked out. And that's why we have to do it, and we have to participate and own it so that we can spread that message across, because love and pleasure, that's the future of it.
And it's so feminine, right? And so in this book that I look at, and I've shared with you that I'm reading it, called The Receiving, the tone of the book is like a little bit anger, a little bit of bitter, like, oh, they left us out. Or I think women don't document stuff. They just like feel it and move on. They support each other. They're in the kitchen, they're doing things, and they're not like, oh, this is important to write down. And I catch it a lot here. And so I say, when people don't feel focused, like to hit the like or the love or the sad or the angry button, like stay focused and type notes in the comments, because we love feeling good, right? Women, we love emotions, but it's so easy to snap and go back into do world. We have to document, we have to write it down. So the fact that you're doing a hot pink Torah means like, I'm in my theories, my feelings, my interpretation, or the way I see things is that important. Because women don't write things down. I think that's my theory. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's fairly obvious that biblical books are primarily written by men.
Yeah.
And that women have very little roles, if any. Sometimes it's just, the wife or the mother of, and it's important that a son was born. That's what's crucial.
Yes.
Women are not named. They don't have storylines where they are the main character. There are a few exceptions, but primarily, they kind of were there, and that's it. So it's what's interesting, I think, is that we actually have this opportunity now to reclaim things that have been lost. Right?
Yes.
Women's voices were not recorded. And unfortunately, through life, through decades and eras, generations, these things that our great grandmothers knew have been lost to us.
Yes.
And so in order to reclaim them, we actually have to go within our bodies. We can use Judaism, which is so ancient, as a guide. And what I do in Hot Pink Torah, I actually call them Jewish gems. Those are the pearls of wisdom that we take, because gems are deep within the earth. And you have to go into Mother Earth. You have to go to this place where the feminine exists in its raw, unfiltered form, and take these gems and polish them until we can wear them and reconnect with that energy, that is that primal divine energy of the feminine.
Oh my God.
So that's what I teach, because we have access within us. It doesn't require reading 25,000 books and just like trying to live life as a man, or trying to have equality like a man in religion, which is often what women's position in religion has been for a while. Is like, how can we live up to what the men are doing? How can we have equal access? No, we have all the access within. We just have to be reattuned to the divinity of who we are.
Interesting. When you said that, I thought about, so in this book, it talks about at some point, you know, like the penis is outside the body.
Yeah.
And like the vulva and the pussy is within. And I like how that correlates to what you just said, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. And also, you know, if you think of a penis becoming erect, right? The masculine goes out and it penetrates, it goes in a direction, whether it's asked to or not, right? It just sort of invades space. Whereas the feminine actually is more about being and becoming, and the potentiality of all the life force and all of the energy that is sort of stored. And it's about that spaciousness, and spaciousness allows us to be. And you know, women have this radiance about them. Women can light up from within in a way that is not actually as obvious for men to do. Like, men will often come around and go like, it's just like she walks in the room and it's magic. Just lights up everything. What is she doing? And she's turned on from within. She's lit up that part of her divinity. That's what it is. And it's sexy and it's sensual and it's beautiful and it's erotic and gloriously radiant. And that is connecting with the divine. It's really important for us to stop separating sensuality with divinity. They are connected, intimately connected. You cannot have one without the other. And I'll get off my soapbox because it's
It's pretty fucking amazing. Everyone's very excited. Oh my God, symbols, I'm so giddy. Good point. Reclaim things that have been lost. Jewish gems from the earth energy, the feminine. These goddesses are amazing. They're just picking out the things and documenting. It's beautiful. Primal energy of the divine feminine. Women can light up from within. It's amazing. Yes. Yes. All the hearts, all the love. And also, it's so important to hear this message and amplify it, right? And to recognize that we are all on a soul level, like in touch with the divine, and wherever it's brought, to keep sharing it, keep amplifying it. And it actually adds to our courage when it comes time to choosing pleasure over suffering.
Yes.
It's really a challenge to be like, no, I stand for pleasure when everyone else is suffering. Like, you could be a total outcast.
Yeah. It's totally countercultural.
Yes, countercultural. Ooh,
totally
I like that.
countercultural. And you know, it's our birthright. And so we need to claim it for ourselves. No one will claim pleasure for us. We have to do that for ourselves. It's our responsibility, actually. And it's one of the greatest gifts that we have been given as women. Totally. So now's our time. This is the perfect time to start.
So on the 31st, so I just want to like be more excited about our timing in this coven, because I love time, and I just like do things. Like, maybe people say there's like a linear calendar of marketing that should happen in like the online business world. But I was like, it's not going to happen. And this literally came to mind, fell into place. The download came about the victim. I wrote it. Here you are. We talked a while ago. So what's happening from now to the 31st? Like, what time are we in before September?
So we're in the end of a month called Av. And Av is a month of total destruction, and also a celebration of love and some it's like an all over the place emotional wreck. This is really what the month of Av is. It is an up and down, everything in between. Any emotion you could imagine can fit into this month.
Okay, can I get an amen if that's describing your fucking August? This was my birthday month, and I was like in a washing machine with extreme highs and then extreme lows and like total threw me all over the place. I'm ready for some peace.
Yes. And so we have a few days left. We can do it. We all can do this. We can stand
Yes.
together. And then we really move into this space where we get to consciously choose what we're going to focus on, what we're committed to.
We are right on schedule up in here. Like everyone's dealing with victim, and we're not in video conference, and so I'm not even sure I mean, people are commenting and writing, but a lot of people watch on the replay, and so I know that it's causing waves. It can be really triggering, really but I love that we're right on time, and I can't do a marketing schedule really, so this feels so perfect. And plus I write pussy and fuck, and I can't do ads for that. So hearing this, it does something to confirm and really trust myself so much even more. And that it's a really felt sense. Like, yeah, it's felt. And I want to honor everybody that shows up and does these things, that I'm on the ride with them, that you're on the ride, like we're all on this ride. And that is the new feminine, where we're all a wise counsel.
Yes, absolutely. And really, actually, this is one of the things, if you sign up, actually, can I put the link in? Because I think.
Oh, I put the link.
You did? Okay.
I put the link. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll pin it so everybody can see.
Okay, wonderful. Because that's actually one of the things that we're going to go through, which is that wisdom of women being in a council with each other, what that looks like. And we'll go actually from a biblical perspective on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very deep, but it's very true. There is no hierarchy here. We are together. Beautiful. We really support each other's individuality and our ability to connect with each other and have that divine connection. That's what's so key. And that's actually what, if we do pleasure practice based in this idea from the Song of Songs that I've been talking about, we are experiencing pleasure that is divine pleasure. This is not that sort of frivolous, like, oh, I'm just going to do something that, I'm going to eat that box of Oreos because that's pleasurable, and then I'll feel like crap for the next day. No, we are not talking about that. That's actually not pleasure. That's actually kind of a cop out of our shadow.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So we are talking about divine pleasure, and it's in your body, and it feels good, and it's delightful, but the ramifications of it, the reverberations of being in pleasure and practicing getting our nervous system into that state where that's the new normal, that's what creates actual shifts in our lives. So that's the month of Elul. That's what we have the ability to do. And obviously, if you want support, that's what I'm offering, because it's where we are. It's the perfect time.
Great. I love it. I love that. I love that we're, there's nothing like having an emotional roller coaster month and then like ending it with support.
Yes.
It makes sense why people are showing up. And it's like, I feel like when people are sharing we had the first night was to write a letter to the victim that lives inside you. And these amazing goddesses, they were ready. It was a kickoff party, and they were like, here's my shit. Like, it feels like such a relief to get it out and to stop harboring it and keeping it protected. Like, take it out. Like, I always think of a dog's anal glands, like express it, get rid of it because it's uncomfortable and it doesn't need to be. Cop out of the shadow. Yes. Okay. So let's see. So Dina says every new month is a woman's holiday. Is that true?
Yes, it is. It is. Every new moon is a women's holiday. Actually, in some societies, even some groups that of women who are still here today in different Jewish communities will take that day off of work. So it is a holiday to celebrate, because we're amazing and we connect with the moon, we connect with cycles, and there are other biblical stories to back all of this up. So women are incredibly, we are such a resource. We just have the wisdom within. So yes, the new moon is a great time to celebrate that.
Amazing. Okay, question. Is this divine pleasure similar to enlightenment and meditation?
Oh, such a good question. I would say yes and no. So here's the thing. Both of them have enlightenment. Pleasure, divine pleasure, is embodying the spirit into our being, our body. So we are actually allowing our soul, our spirit, to be inside of us so that our bodies become basically a temple for it. And we can allow our unique soul print to be expressed through our bodies. And here's the thing, it's great to have a sort of intellectual or a sort of, we are going to be from here up and just be consciousness. And that's a totally legitimate thing. Meditation is beautiful. I actually practice it. And there's more, especially for women, because we birth, right? No matter if you've had a child or not, or if you ever want to, we have this capacity to grow life, to birth life, to nourish life. That is just in our DNA. That is part of the divine consciousness within us, and it's in our bodies. And so it is so important for women to take this sort of spirituality, the soul, the spirit, enlightenment, and bring it in to the body. Otherwise, we would just be a soul that was just didn't have a body. Otherwise, there would be no reason for the body. And it would be ridiculous that we became human, but we're human for a reason. And Judaism honors the body and honors the importance of taking care of our body and learning how to use it to help our soul fully express its divine mission.
And so so it's interesting, you say Judaism, and I have like this cynical side that's like, that's not the way I heard it. So this is like this is your speaking. I just really want to keep reiterating because it's so important that it's more than just important. I've only seen Judaism and everything that you're describing that doesn't feel good. And so I've pushed against it. I'm like, I don't have any sins. I learn. So I don't fast on Yom Kippur. I don't throw bread in the water on, because I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, stop trying to make me suffer. My ancestors have told me we suffered enough. You don't have to. And so this kind of Judaism, I feel so selfish because this is just making me really kvel, and we've already used that word, but the idea that like, there's a little girl inside me, and we've been talking about inner child, that's like, see, we don't have to suffer, and we don't have to be mean to each other, and we don't have to stand around in synagogue looking so beautiful and trying to like make people feel bad. Like, that's not Judaism. That's some bullshit that doesn't feel good and doesn't have to be that way. So like, hearing you speak, I just want to like, I don't know, I feel like I want to run around the house. It's so beautiful. Like, that's the kind of leader I want to be. That's the kind of human I want to show up as, to be with pleasure as a religion. Somebody said that love is the best religion. Oh, yay, Michelle is here. Oh my God, of course you're here, Michelle Keenan. And she is the owner of Radically Selfish. And so here we are. I didn't even see you, and your word just pops out.
So good.
So good. So when you say Judaism, it's like your hot pink Torah Judaism.
Yes, well, and you are so right. And that's why, look, when I was a kid, I loved Judaism because it was baking challah with my mother.
Okay, yeah. That's a good question.
Right. And then I was like a teenager and I didn't want to go to synagogue, and I rebelled, and I didn't want to. What do you mean you're telling me what to do and what I should believe in?
Yeah.
And I went to college, and then I had my freedom and I could do whatever I wanted. And I didn't practice Judaism because that Judaism, I'll put it very simply, the Judaism that is often presented is fear-based Judaism.
Woo!
Right? We are ready for love-based Judaism. That's what I teach in Hot Pink Torah. Slowly, Jewish leaders are starting to talk about this, but it is so far, it's not happening enough.
We're on the edge of Judaism here.
Yes, we are. This is the cutting edge. Hot Pink Torah is the cutting edge. It's crucial. It's where we're going. Well,
and the thing I want to say is, so this, and I'm so conscious of this, and it's interesting because I've always felt left out. So I'm like really embracing like this is for everybody. Because when I was the only like Jewish kid and everybody was cool who wasn't Jewish, and like my Jewish things were weird, and like so I just want to keep including everybody, but also celebrate my little girl who's like, wait, Jewish is cool, Jewish is like interesting and people want to hear about it and I don't have to sort of be ashamed, on some level. And great. And Michelle, so just to like, because now you're here and I want to like be excited. So the three of us have been talking separately and together of bringing this to a panel. And what the hope is, and of course, Jewish pussy is amazing, but is that you make this your own, that you have now permission to make your Catholic, your Christian, your Buddhist, your Muslim, all of the things a little more edgy so that you can be more relaxed and feel held in a sisterhood. So it's not that we're like teaching, we're offering and then opening up the door of permission that be as edgy as you want and find your religion and find the edges if religion is your thing so that you can feel embraced and you can make the thing that makes you have a civil war all inclusive. And Michelle says, I know about that left out feeling. And Valerie says she's half on the mother's side, crazy growing up. Teresa says, I always tried to keep my Jewish friends when I was younger. I loved it. Again, I didn't, Jewish wasn't cool. It was weird. And people would say to me, oh, you don't look Jewish. And there was a part of me that was like, oh, good. I look Italian. It was like, I was young, but it was just really shitty fear of not being liked and not being included.
Yeah. And religion just generally doesn't do a very good job of making people always feel included. There's something you should be doing. There's the out.
Right and wrong.
Are you in it? Are you doing the right? Or are you, no, you just don't belong. You haven't done enough.
You haven't done enough.
Right? Never enough. Never enough. Too much guilt. Always the guilt.
And there was I never watched it, but there was that show, the guy who wrote Seinfeld. Fuck, he was like a tall man. Anyway, it was like a funny show. And he was like, did you get tickets to Rosh Hashanah? And like, where are you sitting? Like there's a lot, and this is all religions. I'm sure everybody can relate. It's like, who has the most money? Where are you sitting? Is your whole family members? Oh, the grandmother's not coming. Like there's all this shame and guilt, like you were saying. And then people turn away from religion. And that's like, I don't think it's a bad thing, but for the reasons that they're turning away, it leaks in people's life and it has more of an impact than I think a lot of us are willing to admit.
Yeah. And if someone's not into
David, yes.
If someone's not into religion, there's also, there's that cool kids group that you weren't a part of as a kid. There's there's so many things where we can feel left out and feel that there's this hierarchy of what's good enough, what's included. I mean, we all know that. So even if you're not into religion, there's probably a part of you, I would guess, that just wants to connect to the deepest truth of who you are and live into that authenticity. And that's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. Yes. Yeah, I feel really protective that I don't want anybody to feel left out. It feels like that keeps coming up. It's some shadow because I lived in that for so long. Like even buying this chai, I was like, wow, I'm buying it out of pleasure. I don't know if you could see it. And it kind of looks like a clitoris with the fallopian, the tubes are they fallopian tubes? No, they're not. I forgot the name of it. Anyway, it felt like a cool move versus I have some Jewish stars that have diamonds all over the place because I think I was like, well, if I'm going to wear the star, it better be fucking good because I'm going to have to feel all kinds of things when I wear it, because people would say, oh, you're Jewish. And then, I mean, I don't hang out with those people anymore, but I would feel a certain like judgment go in that box. Like whether it's like Jewish girls give great blowjobs or she wants to get married and she's going to take all my money. Like whatever shitty thing about Judaism I thought was like, I'm going off on a tangent right now, but I think everyone can relate to feeling some kind of way in an extreme or a group that has a lot of right and wrong, yes and no, good and bad.
And the stereotypes.
Yes, stereotypes, exactly. And it's for comfort. People just want to feel comfortable. So they're like, okay, now we know how to talk to you. And I would feel that. And I'm like, ew, and so we're lucky enough. I'm lucky enough to have cultivated a world where people are open and celebrating each other. And that's the purpose of this whole coven is like, here's a safe place. It doesn't have to be the shittiest way anymore. Take this, enjoy. Okay, Michelle, and then go out and bring it with you.
And I am so impressed by that. And I just want to give so much kudos to you, Shane, for making that happen and prioritizing it.
It was like God was like, you are here to do this. Go do it. Yeah. Beautiful.
And because you listen to those voices inside and you are in your body, you are turned on and lit up.
Totally.
That's what we're talking about.
Totally. All right. Excellent. Well, the hour flew fucking by, minus 7 minutes because we were a little late because of, working shit out. There's something I want a woman. So this is the chapter in this book called Reclaiming Eros. And I recorded my rendition of this story on SoundCloud, and it's a woman named Baruya. Do you know who she is? Do you know her? Well, yeah, it was really interesting. She was like a Talmudic scholar. I don't even know when, back in the day, who knows? But anyway, I think that's a really, like, there's so much. I have to read this book like 5 times, one line sometimes, because it's so dense, but it's also so cool that it's taking me over a year to read it. But there's so many stories yet to be uncovered.
Oh, absolutely. So many stories of the ancient world and so many stories within us that are ready to be expressed. And what a great platform that you have provided. And I'm so thankful to have been invited to this and to be able to share and open hearts and minds to the beauty of this world and what we can do.
Totally. And I'm gonna after we close, I'm gonna replay today's version. So if you missed today at 1:00, you can watch it. The homework was to make a live video that starts with the sentence, I don't know what I'm gonna say, and to just really give your body and your soul an opportunity to just speak whatever wants to come up and start to build that trust muscle of you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know what you're going to say. Like you just said, the divine wisdom is already here.
All inside. And yes. And I'll give you just a little hint, which is if you're getting stuck at all of accessing this, move your hips.
Boom.
Boom.
Simple. I've seen women just make hip circles and start crying. Just move your reproductive organs, move your hips, get it going. Okay. Awesome. You're going to have a lot of amazing women in your challenge. Blessings on your challenge, on your month. I will be in there. I need and love and desire support. We're also always focusing on pleasure up in here. And it feels really good that it's going to be coming after we clear out some victim, because then there's more space for pleasure. Or you can just go through the motions and hope pleasure comes. But it's always nice to start with a supple playground.
Yes. Oh, I love how you
know that was so good coming out. Oh my goodness. Yes. All right. So movers and shakers, we are staying in touch. This goddess is the kind of guest speakers we have in Fuck Your Fears and this Awkward Enchanted Coven. So, let's keep moving this energy into the world. Invite your friends into this group. They can always watch this. It's going to be here. I'm going to put it on YouTube, send it to you, put it in the Awkward Academy. It's really important to keep it real, and you can be comfortable. Like I'm sitting here on my couch because it was important for me to treat my body well. And
enough. You are enough as you are.
Everyone is so enough. Yeah. So thank you for showing up, Rabbi. You're like my rabbi. I'm just making that declaration just in case you want to know.
Thank you. I'm honored. And thank you all for being here and for having such insightful questions and comments. I love being in a room like this. Even if it's online, I feel like I'm right in front here with all of you. So thank you.
Excellent. Yes. And stay in touch with this beautiful rabbi, because she is a coach and we don't know what we're doing together yet. It could be a retreat. So far it's me, you, and Michelle, and everyone's invited. So stay tuned. This is only the beginning. And everyone, thank you for showing up. Oh, the awkward rabbi, my friend said. That's so great. Only because you're in this awkward enchanted coven. It's so good. All right. She just signed on. I'm sure she's not calling you awkward, but it's just like an honor in this group
Oh, I love it. Oh no, I know it's an honor. I got it.
Okay, good. All right, everybody. Have a magical rest of your evening. And thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Mwah.
Everyone.
Bye.